Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Speedy here, and today I'll be talking about food and cooking in Grand Cross. I haven't seen anybody really cover food and cooking in Grand Cross, and I feel like food is a very important thing in this game. Not only does it help you with your characters, but it also helps you in some fights. So today I'll be switching between the global version, the JP version, also a website, and I'm going to try to keep this as short, as simple as possible, but also very informative for you guys. So let's get into it. So food is the most important thing, man. I keep saying this. I don't think it's the most important, but it's a very important, mechanic of the game. It helps you out with so much. On JP, when I first started off, I rarely used food, and I think that was a mistake I probably made. Right now, on JP, when I play, like food, I always use food. Food is literally a part of the game for me right now, and I always use it. So, Speedy, what can you use food for? Well, food not only can boost up your, what is it called? Your stats for a little short period of time for the battle, but it can also help you feed into your characters to unlock the affinity. The affinity is basically the affection you have with your characters. You can get them to level 5 in the hearts department, and then by doing that, you also get a cosmetic for that character. For example, this Meliodas, if you get him to 5 hearts, you get a free sword. And cosmetics in this game are actually very helpful because they raise your stats, and getting cosmetics for characters is actually a good thing. So you do eventually, when you start playing the game more and more, are going to want to get your characters to 5 hearts. You can get that free cosmetic. Also, you do get a gem just bringing to level 3 and all that kind of stuff. So let's say, for example, right here, this Meliodas can take ale. He can take this golden heart, which you guys should never buy because it costs 1 gem per 1 golden heart. So never purchase this. I know it gives you 1,000 affinity, but don't do it. And also, you can use food. So this Meliodas can take grilled beef with herbs, and also he can take a honey pudding. Now, I'm out of the honey pudding. I'm out of the what is this called? The grilled beef with herbs. So I click location, right? And it doesn't tell me where it is. So another thing I can do for the ingredients, right, is just go to bond. So for example, this one, it looks like I need the beef. So I'm gonna just go to bond right here and cook with bond, right? Go to my tavern, go to bond, and let's see if I have the ingredients. So I needed the beef, aged meat. I needed this, I believe, and this. And that is the grilled beef with herbs. So I can just make it with bond right here. I'm gonna just do 2 servings because that's the max I can make right now. And then I'll show you guys how easy it is to just look for the food you need. So there we go, ultra success rate. So we cooked 2, we got 10 in return. Not to mention, okay, one more thing I do want to mention first. You can also cook with Meliodas, but I highly recommend do not cook with Meliodas because your dishes are not going to turn out as much. So for example, if you cook with Meliodas, you're only going to get like 1 dish made. With bond, you have a higher success rate of getting more dishes made. It's like the same thing in the anime. Meliodas can't cook for anything in the anime, but bond can cook really good. So it's the same concept here. Okay, so we just cooked those with bond, right? And now we're out of this ingredient. We need this. So you just click location, and it tells you where you can obtain this ingredient. So you can go to the Fountain of Eternity, you can go to Gartham's Residence, you can go to Master Shop or Material Shop to get this item. So if you're ever in need of a certain item, just hold the item or the food you need, and it will take you to the location you literally need to go to do it. So for example, let's hold this flour, right? Pulling the herbs, click location, and just click go now. And it's literally going to take me to the place I need to go to obtain this item. Okay, so right here it just takes me, I complete a few stages, and I can just infinitely farm the food. Make sure you guys farm food and just completely like farm it wherever you need something. Never purchase the hearts. Another thing food can be useful for is increase your stats for a certain amount of time for entering a battle. Now the 3 main foods I always like to use is HP food, defense food, and a combat power food. I feel like those are the 3 main foods everybody's going to be using most of the time. Now eventually you might use different foods here and there. For example, ultimate gauge food, there's crit food, and all those other foods. There's food literally for everything. Now I'm going to switch over to the website and show you guys all the different foods that are currently in the game. so you guys can see. Okay, so I'm on grandcrossdatabase.com. This website actually is very, very helpful and informative when it comes down to the game. This is actually where I go if I ever need to like look at cooking. I just go to useful information, go to cooking. Like if I'm looking for a specific food and where to farm it, I go on this website, especially on JP since I can't read the stuff. I go here and it basically translates to me, oh, this food does this food does that. So if you ever like struggle, actually on global you shouldn't be struggling to see what the food does, but if you ever want to see what a food does or like how to make it, this website is very, very helpful. It also tells you where to farm it, and also tells you which characters can use it. So there's 6 towns currently in the game. Basically the game is kind of structured in 6 towns where you can farm the materials at. So towns 1 through 6, you can farm different materials on every single one of those towns. So the first town right here, town 1, basically it's chapter 1, so 1 through 6 towns are basically chapters 1 through 6. So the first town 1, chapter 1, you can farm experience food, so basically get experience for your characters, attack food, which is one of the most important foods in the game, and also pierce rate food. Town 2 has gold food, so basically you get extra gold by completing stages if you run this food with you. Defense food, it's an okay food, and also resistance foods. Town 3 I believe has one of the most important foods, that's combat class food, HP food, and regeneration food. Town 4 has PvP coins food, crit chance food, and crit damage food. Town 5 has ultimate move gauge food, crit resistance food, and crit defense food. And then Town 6 has recovery food, lifesteal food, and evade food. Now each town serves different purposes for all these foods. In my personal opinions, like the most important foods are going to be attack food, combat class food, HP food, also lifesteal food is also a very big one, and also evade and an ultimate gauge food can come in handy as well. So like I said, if you ever need to look and see what a food does, this website actually has been super helpful for me, you know, playing the JP side version of the game. For example, I didn't know how to make attack food at the beginning, so I just went on this website, you know, looked at the cooking and saw, hey, look, for attack food you need rotten meat, eggs, and mushrooms, and I easily make attack food. Also, I do want to mention there's 3 foods for each. Like, okay, 3 foods do the exact same thing. So for example right here, the sweet meat pie, the vegetable meat pie, and the milk meat pie do the same thing. No food does something different if it's the same thing. For example, the butter or the manteca won't do a different status. They will both do attack 10%, so it doesn't matter which one you use. You can use either or. They both do the same principle when it comes down to the game. That goes and follows for exactly the same thing. So each food has, there's 3 foods for each purpose, I should say. There's 3 foods for each purpose, and that applies to everything. So there's 3 foods to each purpose, and that applies for every increased stat or whatever the food helps you out with. Now, like I can say this like multiple times, that food again is the one of the more important things in the game. For example, it helped me beat a lot of stages when it comes down to it. CP food, I can't tell you how much CP food has gotten me out of like sticky situations of not having enough combat power to, you know, suppress a stage to go first. Combat power food is definitely a very good food, and it's being ran in the PvP meta a lot. I hope this guys helps you guys a lot when it comes down to like learning and figuring out food. I mean, food is basically, it's more simple to learn on global since you can read what everything does. I guess if you're a JP player and watching this and, you know, don't play the global version, this could be very, very helpful for you. But on global, it should be pretty simple to learn and get the hang of food. I know it's going to take a while, you know, to kind of learn and, you know, utilize food in the best case scenario, but once you, you know, start learning food and, you know, utilize food, the game's going to become a lot easier. And yeah, so I highly recommend, if you guys have characters, for example, a character you guys should be farming food for is probably Blue at the end if you guys use her. Any characters that you use, I highly recommend getting their affinity to 100 or 5 stars, my bad, and then getting the extra you know, cosmetic they offer. So it could either be a costume, a weapon, or a hairstyle. So I highly recommend, if you guys are using those characters on your teams, you know, get them to 5 star, 5 hearts, and then, you know, get the cosmetic for them, because that cosmetic is going to help you later down the line for units to be a lot better and all that kind of stuff. So it's a free cosmetic, it's free stats. Food doesn't really cost anything to farm. You just gotta farm it. It's all free. So it's just depending on how much you guys want to farm it or not. So I hope you guys this helped a lot. So I hope you guys, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you guys so much for watching. 50 likes is the like goal for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.